It was May 7th, 2021 when the Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack happened.
For those who don't know, this pipeline carries 45% of all gasoline and jet fuel to the southeastern U.S. because of this. This cyber attack was one of the most dangerous in American history. But what actually happened? What made this attack so severe? And how did the FBI end up giving the hackers $40 million? Let's find out.
Colonial Pipeline transports fuel across 14 states from Texas all the way up to New York. It's 5,500 miles of pipelines that allow these southern states to be fueled up. However, on May 2021, it was hit with a massive cyber attack, which caused gas stations to run dry. This is because the hackers were able to infiltrate the company SIT network and encrypt all of its data using malware. This meant that the company was unable to manage their operations and had to shut everything down. Luckily, they were able to shut down the system before the malware could spread to the operational technology, or OT. This is basically the technology that controls physical processes like pumps and valves. If the malware would have infected the AT, then we might have seen an explosion or some other kind of serious danger. So shutting down the network was the best option, but this caused a bunch of problems. Gas stations started running out of gas, airports were preparing for chaos, and panic buying ensued. People rushed to the gas station to fill up their cars while they still had the chance. In fact, 90% of gas stations in Georgia ran out of gas within 48 hours. On top of this, the pipeline company had to completely halt oil distribution to prevent any leaks or environmental damage. This led to over $100 million worth of lost revenue by the time everything was back online. And that's just the revenue that the company lost. You have to multiply that by 300 or more to get the total economic impact of this attack. But who was responsible? Well, a group called DarkSide claimed responsibility for the attack. Now, this isn't the name of the actual people behind the attack, but it's the name of the malware they used. In fact, this group uses a ransomware as a service model. This means that the malware can be rented out by anyone. The creators of the malware will set the price and collect the money, but they don't actually launch the attacks themselves. Instead, they sell the ability to use this malware to criminals who will launch the attacks themselves. They make money by offering a service. This is similar to how drug dealers operate. They don't necessarily do the selling themselves, but they do provide the product that makes all of this possible. Now, DarkSide is said to be based in Russia, and investigators believe that it has ties to the Russian government. It's also believed that Russia helped them steal over $70 million worth of cryptocurrency. This was done through a vulnerable blockchain platform called Finico. I mean, this is crazy. We have a rogue nation helping cybercriminals steal millions of dollars. How did the FBI respond? Well, they offered the hackers a deal they couldn't refuse. No, I'm just kidding. They literally gave the hackers $40 million. On May 2021, the FBI announced that they were able to infiltrate the DarkSide network and locate the funds that were stolen from Colonial Pipeline. They reached out to the gang and offered them a deal. The FBI would give them a portion of the money back if they decrypted the files that they had encrypted. After a few days of negotiations, the two parties agreed on a ransom of $70 million. Now, this was the original amount that the hackers demanded. So the FBI decided to seize $40 million and give it to the hackers. Then, they would keep the rest of the money. But why did they do this? Well, it was because they were concerned that the hackers were going to leak sensitive data that could harm national security. By paying the ransom, they ensured that this data wouldn't be leaked. Now, I understand why they did it, but I think there's something wrong with giving the hackers $40 million. It basically incentivizes future attacks like this. Just imagine how many other companies are being attacked with ransomware every day. Many of these companies don't have $40 million lying around. But if they had that much money, maybe they would pay the ransom too. This is the exact reason why many cybersecurity experts were against this move. They believe that no ransom should ever be paid. Otherwise, we're just encouraging more attacks like this. I mean, sure, you might be able to stop the leak by doing so, but there are other ways to handle it. You could always work with the company to restore the data or hire a cybersecurity firm to help decrypt the data. Paying the ransom is only one of several options, and it should never be the first choice. So where does this leave us? Well, if you ask me, we need to focus less on reactive measures like paying ransoms, and focus more on proactive measures. To be honest, even paying $40 million to the FBI wasn't really a solution. They simply stole the money anyway. Instead, we should try to predict these attacks before they happen. There's a new method called graph neural networks, or GNNs, that is able to detect anomalies in computer networks. Essentially, it looks at all of the data flowing through a network to detect abnormalities. When it finds anything unusual, it alerts the administrators so they can look into it further. This was recently used to detect malicious activity in a company, and it worked extremely well. It was able to detect hidden malware that had been flying under the radar for months. Once the malware was removed, the network returned to normal, and the company was saved. The problem is that not everyone has access to this technology. It's very expensive and difficult to implement. But luckily, there are people working on making it easier. Take GraphCore, for example. This is a British chip company that developed a new type of hardware accelerator called the Schism engine. This engine is designed to make GNNs faster and cheaper. They claim that it's already 10 times faster than CPUs and GPUs. The cost is expected to drop significantly in the near future. Basically, they're trying to make GNNs accessible to everyone. And as if you need more proof of how important this is, just take a look at this map. There are hundreds of them every year, and that's just the ones that we know about. Imagine how many go undetected every year. With a technology like GraphCores, we might be able to catch these early on and save countless companies and governments billions of dollars. But let me know what you think. Should the FBI have paid the ransom? And how do you think GraphCore's technology will impact the future of cybersecurity? Either way, I'll see you in the next one.